drug abuse thing was when I came home from jail, was a really big thing as well, because me coming home from jail, I had to go back into the same neighborhood and I had to deal with the same friends.
Welcome to A Sister's Love, the podcast that helps women who are healing by having those deep conversations, giving practical advice and words of encouragement. Come on, let's talk about it.
Hello, my beautiful sisters. Welcome back to another episode of A Sister's Love podcast. On today's episode, we have a guest. Her name is Kenisha, and she is the owner of a nonprofit called Developing Hearts and Minds, who works with women who have experienced similar difficulties like her, incarceration, trauma, substance abuse, and she helps them and giving them resources like counseling, housing, and things like that. To dive in more about how she can help you or the resources that she has, stay tuned. But before we get started, I want to introduce myself. My name is Rose Jones, and I am your host here at A Sister's Love Podcast. And I am just one woman with one story trying to inspire other women to break free and speak their truth. So if you are a woman who are looking to heal from trauma or on a self-love journey and you need support and resources, then you are in the right place. I would love you to become a weekly listener. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications so that you will never miss another episode of a Sister's Love podcast. Now let's get into this awesome guest. Hello, everybody. We have a wonderful guest. And Kenisha, can you give the audience an introduction of who you are and what you do?
Okay. I'm Kenisha Wilson and I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization, Developing Hearts and Minds, Inc. I started my nonprofit organization. My nonprofit organization is geared towards women who were formerly incarcerated, women that were dealing with drug abuse, domestic violence, different kind of traumas, that affect their everyday lives. So I decided to start my nonprofit so that I can help and give back to those women, because actually I am those, them women. So I would be better to suit them and help them because I've experienced, the same traumas and trials that they're going through.
Oh, can you tell me a little bit more about your experience?
Um, where would you like me to start at?
You could talk about like the biggest motivation that got you started to opening the nonprofit.
I think the biggest motivation that got me started was coming home from prison and seeing that there were a lot of Black women that were in the halfway house with me that didn't have the resources to deal with the type of traumas that we all were facing: drug abuse, like I said, domestic violence. And in the Black community, you really don't have anybody to go to, to actually talk to these things about without feeling shunned upon, or, that people really don't understand because you're looking at maybe a doctor or a professor. You're not really comfortable, and it's not a lot of people of our skin color, to be honest with you, that you can go to and feel comfortable and talk. So I felt like if I started that and I talked to these women and I open up to them and let them know that I am that person, I understand where they're coming from, and I can help them in that way. That's how I got started.
Oh, that's wonderful. Can you talk about some of the challenges that you face with just opening up this nonprofit and the challenge that you face within yourself and overcoming the trauma so that you can be a resource?
So rephrase that question again.
So can you explain to me more about how the things that you had to overcome so that you can be a resource to these women? Like for your trauma, how did you overcome your trauma? How did you overcome the things that you are helping these other women overcome right now?
So to say overcome, I wouldn't say I overcame them, because I still deal with them, on a daily basis. I just know how to better cope with them. That's what I can say, And so one of the things that I learned with is to accept it and face it, and and deal with it, and not be as don't look at it as like it's this terrible thing, or that I'm the only person that this happens to, when no, it's not. It's many, many, many of us that this happens to, And as far as the drug abuse, the drug abuse thing was when I came home from jail, was a really big thing as well, because me coming home from jail, I had to go back into the same neighborhood and I had to deal with the same friends. So it was a lot of times that I was slipping, I'm slipping
Yeah.
slide being with being with the same friends and always
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, I got it. I could do it. Ain't nobody going to see me." You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then I had to just make a conscious decision that no, I can't keep going over here. You understand what I'm saying? I had to make a conscious decision that I needed to stop so that I could be able to help these other women. That's the only way that I was going to be able to do it. But overcome and dealing with it is two different things. I deal with it on a daily basis every single day.
I agree with that because I always suggest healing is like a never ending process. It's just something that you're learning more and more every day. You're just working towards becoming a better person every day and making that decision to become that better version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it's just that one decision that can make a great difference in everybody's life. Like making a decision to want to do better, making a decision to want to see a different atmosphere in your environment. So just making that decision is a great step towards where you want to be in your life.
Correct.
Yeah. So can you explain like exactly how the women like some of the stories of the women that comes into the nonprofit and how you exactly help them and things like that?
Okay, so one woman that came in, she came in about 3 weeks ago, and I knew her, and I kind of knew a little bit about her story, but she came in, and she was being abused, but I think everybody knew that she was being abused, and she kept trying to hide and hide. And until she finally came to me. And when she came to me, it was as if she kept trying to sugarcoat it. And so
Yeah.
I was able, once I told her I was you, this mark on my eye, this mark right here, I have 19 stitches in my eye from a man that beat me, so she ended up coming out and telling me and, really opening up and was able to accept her truth. And once she accepted her truth, then we were able to help her. And I still deal with her today, and she's healing. And I can see, like the weight lifted off her shoulder, because I believe it was in that moment that I actually told her, I think this story right here was like, you don't have to sugarcoat it to me. I've been there. I've lied, and my eye was sitting all the way out here, and I was telling the people he didn't hit me, And so once I did that with her, she opened up, and now she's seeking the help, and she's doing the things that she need to do. But I believe if she would have went to someone that didn't look like me or you and tried to go sit across from somebody, she would have still been being abused, because she would have clammed up and not felt comfortable telling somebody who doesn't have the experience, or somebody she thought would have been looking down on her, her story. She wouldn't have got the help. So we need more women like myself and others that have been through this to help these women and children through
Yeah.
this.
I totally agree because the same like right here, my lip is bust open and it happened in my house and
Mm-hmm.
my mother was there and all she did was like pick me up and take me to the hospital and just left it at that, you know what I'm saying? And I was young at the time. I was like 18. And like if we don't have that support, that people that understand what we've been through and don't want people to go through it, instead of having people around us like I see it, but I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of experience that we have. I see it, but I don't see it because I don't know how to deal with it myself. So I'm just not going to help you deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that mean if I help you, that mean if that when it's happening to me, that mean I have the courage to deal with my own shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't want to deal with what they're going through themselves, so they ignore what you're going through because they don't want to be that source or don't want to have to fight their own battles. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest
Exactly.
thing that we do is because we're willing to fight our own because we're willing to fight our own battles. we'll help other people fight theirs. A lot of people don't have that courage. And
Exactly.
because you do, I really amend that, because it is something like, because when you see yourself and other people, that hurts. It hurts, because I relive it every time I talk to somebody, because I'm like, you just don't know how far or how bad it can get. And if you don't get out now, it can literally take your life. And they don't see it at that moment, but our lives is at risk every moment that we decide not to walk away.
I think what the biggest thing is, and I know it was for me as well, and maybe you as well, it can't happen to me. I won't
Hmm.
end up dead. And it can.
Oh yeah, it did.
That's the big
It happened to me until it did happen to me. Like, I was literally on the floor with my life getting choked out of my body. Like, oh, it's me. I'm actually that person I said I wasn't gonna be. It's me. And I
right,
had to literally fight for my life. I had to fight for my life.
right,
And when I fought for my life, I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back, because next time I might not make it out. I might not make it. I
right,
have to make a decision. And I'm hoping other people not get to that point. Like, you don't have to have that traumatic experience for you to walk away. You don't have to be do or die for you to
right,
get the help that you need. And a lot of us as Black women, we wait till it's do or die to feel like we could change or we could walk away when we have no other options on the table. And I want to give people resources and information so they can walk away before that point.
right. It's actually a safe space for them to go
Mhm.
to. But I also believe that a lot of Black women and young girls, they end up in these domestic violence relationships because they go in looking for love, because nine
Mhm.
times out of 10, a lot of them didn't have that father figure. Because I know for me, I went into the men looking for a father figure because I didn't have that father figure. So as soon as a man told me he loved me, I was, oh, he loves me, this, that, and the third.
Mhm.
The next knocking me upside my head, but I'm thinking that he loves me because I never had a father to show me how to be properly loved. So then I'm dealing with and dealing with and dealing with, and it escalates. And that's what I see with a lot of Black women and children,
Yeah, and the
young
crazy thing
girls,
about
I'm
it,
going to say.
yeah, it's crazy thing about it. I had my dad, but my dad showed me the same exact thing. Like, he was knocking my mom aside her head. So I thought that was love. So when I got into a relationship, I'm like, oh, this was my example of love. So my dad did that to me. Like, so he loved me, because my dad acted like he loved my mom, and my mom acted like she loved my dad. And the way she reacted to my dad and the things that he did, like, it was normal. So as I was getting into relationships, I thought that was part of the relationship cycle. Like, that's love. You, like, you get out of line,
Like,
you do stuff that they don't like, you get checked. And this is how they check you, instead of having a conversation with you, instead of negotiating or trying to compromise, they knock you upside your head and you deal with it, you get up and you move on. Like you get disciplined like a
correct.
child. Yeah.
Like it was normal, and nothing is normal about that.
Nothing. Nothing.
And we carry it on for generations and generations and
Mhm.
generations and generations.
And that's the bad thing. But when you in a family that has generations of domestic violence and you never ever seen a healthy relationship, it's hard to break that cycle. It's so hard to break it when you are the only one that's willing to step out of it and everybody's against you.
Right, correct.
Yeah, that's just a lot. It is like, it's overwhelming, and it takes a lot of courage to be like, it's pretty much the black sheep, because they're like, no, we don't talk about stuff. We don't do like that. And like, my family get very irritated with me because I'm like, no, we're not. No rug today. We're not sweeping nothing under the rug today. I'm the one that I'll even I'll call the police on my brother. I'll beat the hell out. I'm like, bro, no, not in front of me. Not in front of me. Like, you got
Right.
the wrong one. They already know. I'm like, here she come. I'm coming. Like, I'm coming full force. No playing, no games. Because if I see it, I'm gonna speak something about it. I'm not gonna do it. Like, we're not gonna sugarcoat nothing, because it's only how to heal is to address. We cannot
Exactly.
address anything that we cannot hide stuff no more. Like, we're dooming our next generation.
We see what happened when we slept it under the rug for so many years, and look at
Mhm.
it. It's out of control. Everybody is all over the place. There's all types of issues. It's just things that it's really out of control.
It is. It's like, to the point that it's even all over social media. Like, people are literally making money from domestic violence. Like,
Yes.
people glorifying this. Like it's the normal thing. And people like, yeah, at least they're honest about what they're going through, because they're honest about what they're going through, not actually getting the help. Like y'all using this as entertainment. This is people's life. You're
Right.
entertaining by people's life. This is wounding them. This is hurting them. And this it's not funny. Like it hurts my heart when I watch stuff like that. I'm like, I just want to hug these people. I want to jump through the screen and just grab them. Like, just come on with me. Just come on with me.
Because
I got
that's all they need is really love, but it's not, that's not happening right now.
it's not. And I get like, do you do like workshops with them and stuff like that also
Yes.
with the girl?
Yes. So I'm starting the workshops and we'll be focusing on self-esteem, etiquette, things that you that they really should have learned. I'm gonna almost say when they were almost 5, because you almost
Yeah.
have to take it back to the very beginning. Because if they're 17, you can you can start them, but really you have to start them when they're about 5 or 6 to really get it
Mhm.
instilled. And
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Because I think like self-worth and self-love, self-esteem, self-confidence, all of those self things is very
Right.
crucial. Because if we don't love ourselves, we won't know how to love other people, or see what love really feels like. So if we do not get on the right path of learning that self, then we're going to keep being open to all the BS that's happening in the world and keep allowing it to happen to us.
Yes, all types of things. You'll let all types of things happen to you when you don't love yourself. Domestic violence, drug abuse. I mean, just the list goes on and on. Incarceration, on
Mhm.
and on. You don't love yourself, but the moment that you love yourself or have some dignity, or just a little bit of dignity about yourself, you'll start moving different.
Yeah, but knowing that you still have to have the courage, because people ain't gonna like that. That's gonna be the biggest challenge. Is the people that's gonna pull back against you. Like, who do she think she is, or why do you think that you're entitled to love now when your past is this and this and this and this? Like, that's where you have to really have that courage to like, I don't care what I've been through. I know what I'm worthy of, and I'm gonna move forward in this path, regardless of what happened to me or what you're saying to me. And it's like combating the naysayers and all the negative voices and all those people. Like, that's the biggest challenge I had, was people like, do you know who you are? Do you know what you've been through? Yeah, you get the bare minimum from me. And I'm like, what? People are really willing, and they're out loud with it. Like, who do you
Right.
think I am? Like, you this, and this. You're not entitled to that. And we are women, we need to know that we're entitled to the most. People make it feel like because we have a past that we're not entitled to wanting so much more, and we are. We are.
We definitely are, and we're actually more equipped to help the masses of the people, that's in the same predicament that we were once in, because we have the experience, we lived it, so we can help so much more. But the naysayers are there for that reason, not to help the people. They want to see the people still down, because 9 times out of 10, they're one of the people. That's how we
Yeah,
usually. And if you
yeah, they
start getting
definitely.
yourself together, then that makes them have to look at themselves, and they don't want to do that.
They was like, no, nope, nope, nope. And especially if they want you in their life, like, well, if I want to keep this person in my life, that requires me to change. And I don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna keep them down here with me. I'm gonna try my best
Exactly.
to keep you
Exactly.
down here with me.
Exactly.
Yep, it's sad, but this is the world that we live in now, and we just have to overcome it, or learn how to live in it and thrive through it.
Or healing.
Start healing. Just start healing. So, before we end, is it like any words of encouragement or advice that you want to give the women that's listening to the podcast today?
What I will say is this: no matter what, even when it feels like there is no hope, I'm talking about when you feel like you are on your last leg, just always remember that it has to change. It has to be a turnaround. Only if you put in the work, though. You have to put in the work. And I always use this term, the yin and the yang. You might be
Mhm.
having that bad moment, but you have to get that good moment. It's called
Mhm.
balance, and it's the yin and the yang. You cannot have one without the other. So
Yeah.
always, you can't. It's impossible. You can't have one without the other. So if you put in the work, you'll be good, but you have to put in the work.
Yeah, and it's how you perceive the work too. You know, we could
Right.
perceive it as a bad situation, or you could perceive it as something that's going to take you to where you want to go. You know, it's your perspective of life and your perspective of what you're going through. I learned how to perceive things a lot different now that I am on a healing journey. Like, I always see stuff that has growing pains. Like, it hurts now, but it won't hurt tomorrow or the day after because I'm growing from it and I learned from this experience right now. And I know if I encounter this next time, know exactly what to do because I put in the
Exactly.
work. I put in
Exactly.
the work to make sure when that come back this way, I know what to do with them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You just gotta put it, you just knowing that the perspective and understanding where you're going and what you want to do and use that to your advantage. And now, as we come to end, can you please tell the listeners your website, a little bit more about the nonprofit again, reintroduce it and where they can find you on social media and everything.
Okay. The name of the nonprofit is I'm Kenisha Wilson. I'm the founder of the nonprofit. Am I speaking too fast?
No, you good. You good.
Okay. The name of the nonprofit is Developing Hearts and Minds Inc. I can be reached via Instagram, making empowering movements, Facebook, Kenisha Wilson, and the email address is Kenisha Wilson at developingheartsandminds.org.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank
And we
you.
had a wonderful conversation. I really hope that the listeners learned something today and they can really embrace themselves on this journey and reach out to you if there are you in Philadelphia, right? You said
Yes, I'm in
Philadelphia,
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yes. Where
Philadelphia,
are you?
Pennsylvania, Buffalo, New York.
Oh, yeah, Buffalo, New York. Okay.
Buffalo, New York. We're not that far, but I think it's a drive though.
Yes, it is.
It's a drive. It's a drive.
Going up them upstate.
Yeah, yeah. So if
And I
y'all are
appreciate
in that
you
area,
having me. I
definitely
really do.
reach out to her. Do you do things online or only in person?
No, online as well.
Oh, so y'all can reach out. You don't have to be in person. So definitely reach out to her if y'all want to take advantage of those resources and things like that. All right, guys. Until next time. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. All right, take care. Be safe.
Well, that's it for today's episode of a Sisters Love podcast. But before we end, I want to invite you to our new support group. This group is exclusively for podcast listeners. This is the perfect place for women to come together, share experiences, and ask questions and get access to exclusive resources. You also get to meet some of our amazing guests in the group. Also, this is a judge free zone. You don't have to worry about feeling unheard or alone. To join this group, all you have to do is sign up to our mailing list. And once you do that, you will be granted access to the support group. You'll find the link below. Bye bye.